Now we see Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Panchamodhyaya, 5th chapter. We'll chant now from verse number 6. We'll chant verses number 6 and 7. Sanyasastu mahabaho,
Sanyasastu mahabaho,
dukkhamaptumayo gataha,
dukkhamaptumayo gataha,
yoga yukto munir brahma,
yoga yukto munir brahma,
nachirena gacchati,
nachirena gacchati,
yoga yukto vishuddhatma,
yoga yukto vishuddhatma,
vijitatma jitendriyaha,
vijitatma jitendriyaha,
sarvabhutatma bhutatma,
sarvabhutatma bhutatma,
kurvannapi na lipyate,
kurvannapi na lipyate,
kurvannapi na lipyate,
kurvannapi na lipyate.
Sanyasastu mahabaho, dukkham aptum. Dukkham aptum is difficult to achieve. What? That path of meditation, or the path of jnana, the path of sannyas, renunciation, and that kind of thing. Difficult for anybody to engage themselves in that. A nice word is given there. What is that? Ayogataha. For the one who is ayogataha. What Bhagavan is doing in this verse, you know, he's making a serial order. Let me tell you what is that now. You know, many times in Hinduism, people say we have so many paths, na? Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, jnana yoga, dhyan yoga, japa yoga, ashtanga yoga, raj yoga, any type of yoga, hot yoga, cold yoga, anything. Nowadays, if you're driving through America, I recently saw it written on a big sign in front of some building, hot yoga, hot yoga. Because I didn't go inside to find out what is hot yoga. But people have all kind of yoga, you know. So, the teaching is that, what people usually say is that these are all parallel paths. So you follow the path of karma yoga, you follow the path of bhakti yoga, or the path of jnana yoga. They are all parallel roads, and they will all take you to the same place. But you know what Bhagavan is doing in this verse? He's saying, no. They are not parallel paths. They are serially ordered paths. It means you start with karma yoga, and when you perform long enough, it gets transformed into bhakti yoga. And when you go on with that also, all of them will bring certain benefit to you. So it's one path only. And on the path, you engage in all of these different types of yoga. And eventually, you will get to jnana yoga. It means you cannot start with jnana yoga. You have to start with karma yoga. So Bhagavan makes a serial order in the path. That is why he says, to reach the path of jnana, or sanyasastu mahabaho, to reach that path of jnana and sannyas and meditation and renunciation, all that kind of thing, right? To reach there is very difficult for ayogataha, one who has not gone through karma yoga. That is like you have to first go through primary school, then high school, then only you can get into tertiary education. So what, you want to get into tertiary education right away? Without going to primary school and high school? It is not possible, na? It will not happen. So here also, we have to learn to work selflessly in the world and dedicate our actions to God, to His world. That is called karma yoga. And that must ripen into pure love for all beings and all things. The Lord manifested in all beings and all things. So that must mature into pure love. That is called bhakti yoga. These two, what they do, you know, karma yoga brings chitta shuddhi, purity of mind. Bhakti yoga brings chitta ekagrata, integration of mind. The mind with all the impurities will become pure when we engage in karma yoga, working selflessly for the benefit of humanity, in dedicating our actions to God. Then the mind, after becoming relatively pure, that is no guarantee that the mind will be integrated, concentrated. Let me give you simple examples about it. I'm trying to get down to a little bit more philosophical, deeper portion of the Gita. Usually you will not study these things in satsang, but that is what satsang is for. You have to think a little bit. On one of the previous days I was telling. So, let us say the mind has desire and anger, greed, hatred, jealousy, all the negative things, right? Those things happen only because the person is selfish. He's only thinking of himself. Then all of these things come. If you're not thinking of yourself, none of these things will come. All desire, anger, greed. You design for who? For yourself only. And when you don't get what you want, anger. And if somebody else gets it before you, jealousy. And when you get one, you want two. And when you get two, you want three. And when you get three, you want four. Greed. Because who is at the center of all of that? Me. So when we work now selflessly for others, dedicating our action to God, these things go away slowly. All the impurities of the mind go away. And I said that doesn't guarantee that the mind will become concentrated. For that, what is required? Because my mind can be very pure but wandering all about. For that bhakti yoga, I love, you see, the mind wanders from place to place because we love that thing over there and we love the other thing over there. And the satsang going on now, the mind doesn't love that so much. The mind loves to remember when I went to Disney World and I went up in that roller coaster and it went upside down and I went yippee. The mind likes to remember that. So it wanders. So there's no impurity, there's no Kam, Krodh, Mada, Lobh, and those things are not there. But the mind is wandering everywhere. It is called as disintegrated mind. So the chitta ekagrata, integration of the mind, is brought about by bhakti yoga. So this is a progressive development of the mind. From the mind I remove impurities. Then to the mind I bring integration. And now to that same mind, even though concentrate, you see, I can concentrate on this now. But this is something is outside. This is external. So the mind is extroverted. So one fellow went in the supermarket and he took up the can of orange juice, I told you. And he was looking at the orange juice like this. So one man asked, what are you looking at? He said, it is written here, concentrate. So he's concentrating on the, but that is on something external. So now see what all the three parts do, and this is serially ordered. Karma Yoga brings purity to the mind, removes all the negativities. Bhakti Yoga integrates the mind, and Gyan Yoga finally turns the direction of the mind from outside to inside. Otherwise, it might be concentrated, but it's concentrating on something outside. You see? So Gyan Yoga turns that mind inside. So we'll find our own self. So Bhagavan is saying now, for that last thing to happen, for a person who has not gone through Karma Yoga, Dukham Aptum, very difficult. For a student from primary school to survive in university, he might, because there's some, what you call, child prodigies and all in the world. So, but how many child prodigies are there? In 5-10 million you will find one. So you might find a child from primary school, you could take him and put him in university, he might survive. 1 in 10 million or something. But for the vast majority of the rest of us, we have to go through the primary school, high school, A levels, and then to university. So here, he said, without going through this Karma Yoga, to get to this Gyan Yoga, forget it. Very difficult thing. He doesn't use the word forget it. He says it's very difficult. Yoga Yukto Munir Brahma. That Muni, that sage or that spiritual aspirant, the one who is in pursuit of this self, he reaches that self very quickly if he has gone through these paths well. If he has gone through Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga, quickly, Nachirena Adhigacchati, he goes to that stage. And in these stages now, what does one encounter? That is given in verse number 7. I told you, very nice verse. We'll see that today. Yoga Yukto Vishuddhatma Vijitatma Jitendriyaha. Yoga Yukta Vishuddhatma. Vishuddhatma means who has purified his mind through Karma Yoga. Vishuddha Atma, purification, who has purified his mind. He is called as Vishuddhatma. So if anybody you see with a pure mind, you could change his name. Call him Vishuddhatma. And if he doesn't like Sanskrit names, you put his name, pure-minded fellow. Anyway, never mind. It means that he has removed all these negativities from his mind. Now see, if we don't remove these negativities from our mind, right? This is primary school, right? If I don't remove these negativities from my mind, can I hope to reach the Jnana Yoga where there is peace and tranquility, oneness with one's self, feeling my unity with the whole universe, being in a state of tranquility and being happy and joyous and all that? No. I have to start over here, and sadhana demands that I go on removing the negativities one by one daily. Go on working on them. Otherwise, what happens, People keep, several things happen. One is, people keep putting them off. Right now, I'm getting angry every day. One of these days, I will deal with this anger, Right now, I'm greedy and running after things in the world. One of these days, Swamiji, I will stop. And goes on and on and on, and no stopping. So we keep putting them off. Second thing is, the mind itself, most of the time, do not even allow us to know that we have these negativities. When some negativity is there in the mind, that itself prevents the person from knowing that he has a negativity. It's like some facade, some veil on the mind. And the mind never comes to know that I have this negativity. And any bad or wrong thing or negative thing he does or says, and you tell him, he has some excuse to cover that. Have you seen that? He'll justify that thing. One boss man is telling, he had some workers carrying some iron from there to here. All of them bringing a length of steel or 2 lengths of steel or whatever. So then, he told one of the workers, hey, what is this? Everybody is bringing 2 lengths of steel on their shoulder, and you are only bringing 1 length. All the other workers, they're bringing 2 lengths. And you're only bringing 1 length. Why? He said, because boss, those fellows too lazy to go back 2 times. Now look here. The man lazy, alasya it is called in Sanskrit. That's a negative trait. Alasya is laziness. Right? But he finds a very forceful argument to justify his alasya. Making the other people who are not lazy, making them look bad and making himself look good. Them fellows lazy, The other guy is lazy. They don't want to go back. They make a second trip, so they bring 2 one time. So negativities are like this. They are there. First of all, we don't see them. Second, if we point them out, the person has a very good excuse. The most lame sadhak in the world is one who justifies his negative traits. That person has a long way to go. Because not only is he putting layers and layers of barrication on his mind, layers and layers of covering, he doesn't realize that he is burying himself deeper and Deepa. You'll never be a sadhak. The first thing is to admit now, okay, I have this negative trait, I have this negative quality, I have this undesirable characteristic in my personality. I have to get it out. That is the admission. Admission is the first thing. Immediately the person justifies it. One bossman went to the village and he hired a cook. He brought the cook to the city. So he told the cook now on the first day. He said, well, I request you to go down by the market and buy some vegetables. The cook said, sir, I came from the village today only, and I don't know the city so well. If I go down by the market, I might get lost. The bossman said, okay, I will go and buy the vegetables. So he came. He said, I request you, please cook these vegetables for me to eat. He said, sir, in the village I was used to cooking in a fireside, chulha. Now you have all kind of fancy gas stove and everything here. So I'm afraid I don't know how to operate this fancy equipment. The bossman said, okay, don't worry, I will cook it. The bossman cooked it. Then the bossman said, well, the food is finished. Would you have some? He said, well, since you requested 2 times and I refused, it will look bad if I refuse a 3rd time also. So I will have some. You see? How subtle ways the mind finds itself justifying the most silly things and making himself look good and finding good excuses and all. That is, and the mind is always in cohort, always in cooperation with all of these negativities, because that is how the mind survives. It preys on these type of things. So, Vishuddhatma means one who removes his negativities from his mind. And I'm telling you, the first place it starts is for me to, first of all, recognize and admit that this thing is a shortcoming in the mind. It is a dosha of the mind. It is a defect of the mind. And I have to remove this thing. And if you go on justifying it, you will never get on the spiritual path. You're doing wrong things and you go on justifying it also. Always have some good excuse. So they call it Vishuddhatma, purification of the one who has purified his mind. Now see, the journey, in the beginning itself, and this is the beginning of the journey, right here, the journey is so difficult, isn't it? Right, to identify all the negative traits of the mind and remove them, right here the journey begins, and how difficult that is. One trait, if you take it, is so difficult to remove. That is why the spiritual path is so demanding. You have to take it up with so much of zest and enthusiasm. When you go to satsang there, you go there with your mind there, because you're going there with a purpose. You don't go there. When that Swamiji will finish? And the talk going on there in your mind. And no, that will not do it, see. Because I'm saying in the initial stages of the spiritual journey is so difficult. I'll show you something. Look at this. How wonderfully nobody thinks about it like this. Do you know? Some great big scientists and all, right? They're in their lab all day, all night. They don't want to leave because they feel if they leave, they'll lose the train of their thought. So they stay there, go on working to discover this and discover that. And such people also, the scriptures say, with all their achievement in the worldly fields of science and with all their achievement, they still have not yet started on the spiritual path. And for that person also, the difficulty is the same as if a person has never studied anything on the worldly path. He's never studied any science. He's an ordinary person who's never gone to school. The difficulty for him to remove these negativities from the mind is the same as for the person who has been a scientist all his life and he has gone to the highest rungs of secular education. The difficulty is exactly the same, because that fellow there who has gone to the highest rungs of secular education, he has to deal with the same anger, same desire, same lust, same craving, same greed, same everything, and the same degree as the man who has never gone to school. That means that any achievement in the worldly secular field is really no achievement in the spiritual field. And there are so many examples, not good to call names and all, but there are so many examples I have read in the lives of great, great people who have become great scientists and discovered, who have become pioneers in their field, and they never tackled even one of the negativities on the spiritual path. Not even one. They go through. See, this is a common thing. Common thing. I once went to see a doctor. So I sat in the waiting room outside. Because there was a patient inside the doctor's office. My turn was next. The patient came out. And there was no receptionist or anything. The doctor is alone. The patient came out and told me the doctor said you could come. He was the receptionist. The patient is each patient that comes there is a receptionist when leaving. So the patient said the doctor said you can come in. So I went inside that office. Who I see inside the office? A man with his 2 legs up on the desk and smoking. So I said, where is the doctor? He said, in Hindi he was telling me, doctor? मैं हूँ doctor. Means I am the doctor. Well, I walk out back from the office same time, same speed. But this is the same person who treats people for their health and who talks about health and do all the other things, right? But it's the same person who sit down there and smoke. It means to say, even though, and in society, everybody looks up to the doctor because he is Dr. Saab, He has reached the heights of secular education in society and respected and everything. But on the spiritual field, a little craving what to talk of doctor ko chhoro. Bare prime minister, president in our country also. We had one prime minister, he could not do without his pipe. So he has reached the pinnacle. But on the spiritual field, finally crapo smoky pipe. You see what I'm saying? Any of your big achievement in the secular field guarantees nothing on the spiritual field. You crave, you're a slave to a pipe. You're a slave to a pipe. So the man who is uneducated and the man who is educated, that is why when you come to the temple and you put your chappal outside, that time you put your individual ego outside. So one ego is educated and one ego is uneducated. So everybody leave their chappal outside. Means when you come before Bhagwan, in front of the Lord, captain to cook, everybody is same in front of Bhagwan. Because both have the same shortcomings, you see. Vishuddhatma. Such a most wonderful. I told you on the previous day when I was here that this verse is so nice. Each word you study, Vishuddhatma. So the initial stages of the spiritual path, I remove all these negativities from my mind. But a small craving, I dealt with it on previous days also. A small craving, you cannot do without that. See, I'll dramatize that for you. See here. I want you to tell me, between you and the cigarette, who is boss? Aha. See, the human being, the roof and crown of creation, the most elevated being in the cosmos is under Bhagwan. Because even the Devatas, they don't have the privileges of a human being. That human being who, the great Archimedes once said that if you give me a fulcrum on which to place my crowbar, I will move the earth. That human being who could evolve to such a level where he has the confidence to move the earth, where he has the confidence to command God in Tulsi Ramayana. That human being, when the little cigarette says, hey, the little cigarette stares him in the face, hey, take me. Then you say, no, you are a little insignificant cigarette. And the cigarette says, but you have a craving in your heart. Then you say, but I want to quit. Then the cigarette says, well, quit tomorrow now. Quit tomorrow. Today, take me. And in the end, the cigarette wins out. And who is his master and who is his slave in that exchange? Cigarette is the master, and this fellow becomes the slave. This human being who could become God. A human being who has the capacity to realize his godhoodness. He becomes a slave to a little craving. That little craving we are talking about, along with all the line of negativities which he describes in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, all of them have to be removed. That person is then called Vishuddhatma. One by one, daily, you have to go on removing. Huh? And first of all, you see, look at all your cravings. How many things? Butter and roti. Ma, give me more roti. And that craving gone from there till whole life. Doctor, stop you from eating. You are gluten intolerant. Stop eating roti. Or, okay, doctor, I'll stop. But now you eat in doubles. It's the same thing, isn't it? Vishuddhatma. Vijitatma. Vijitatma means to conquer. Vijita means to conquer the mind. To conquer the mind. So, I was telling just now that look, you may remove all these impurities of the mind, right? One by one you remove them and all. But that doesn't mean to say that you have conquered the mind. The mind will still wander here and there. You're sitting here and the mind is in Australia. Sitting here, the mind has gone to Manila. Those poor people suffering, you know. But there's a time for thinking about that. When you're in satsang, you think about what is going on in the satsang. You keep Vijitatma, to conquer the mind. First to purify the mind, then you conquer the mind. Then Jitendriyaha. Jita Indriyaha means to conquer the senses. Because you are sitting there and the satsang is going on. So all of your senses are operating simultaneously. One is the eyes. So you're supposed to be looking. See, the one thing you see in satsang, when anybody comes in late or anybody passes, the speaker is speaking about scriptures. Scriptures is Bhagavan Uvacha. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Lord himself, whatever the Lord is saying, the speaker is speaking about that. But anybody passes and all the eyes go. Have you seen? Anybody passes across. Jitendriya means, keep your eyes there. Indriya means all the senses. Somebody next door to you, they're talking. Somebody next to you are talking, and is talking. Then, people, let me tell you something. How the human senses work, If some noise is going on, right? some noise is going on, but next to you some gossip is going on. In all that noise you will hear the gossip. That time your hearing becomes so acutely selective that you ignore all the noise, but you hear a little piece of gossip. But when the satsang is going on and Bhagavan's words are being said, and somebody is talking there, you say, hey, stop talking. You're disturbing me. So that becomes a disturbance. In the acquisition of the words of the Lord, getting the words of the Lord, hearing the words of the Lord, the obstacles that come in the way and hamper the senses, those obstacles seem to gain more weight when it is the word of the Lord. And if it is some gossip word, those obstacles do nothing. That is how the world. This is a fact about the world. I'm not blaming you or anything. So you have to be vigilant. Then everybody has to be vigilant, alert. Don't let the senses go here and there. Vijitendriya. And you have 5 of them to deal with. 5 of them to deal with. Kaviraj says a nice verse, We chant that sometimes. Oh, let me tell you what he says. See. कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग कबीर कैसे तिरूं कहे कबीर कैसे तिरूं पंच कुसंगी संग कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कहे कभी कैसे तिरूं पंच कुसंगी संग कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कागद केरी नावरी पानी केरी गंग
कहे कबीर कैसे तिरूं
कहे कबीर कैसे तिरूं
पंच कुसंगी संग कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग
कबीरा पंच कुसंगी संग
Kagad Keri Navari. Our boat is made from paper. Have you seen paper boats? He says our boat is made from paper. And the water which we have to cross over is like the vast Ganga in space. If you see that once in your life, it will scare the life out of you. The Ganga in space. Ocean and all, nothing. So we have a boat made out of paper and we have to cross that type of Ganga. He said, Kahe Kabir, kaise tiru? How we'll cross? How we'll cross? Pancha Kusangi Sang. Because we have an association with the 5 Kusangis. 5 Kusangis means what? The 5 senses. Because those fellows are Kusangis because they never want to look in the right place, listen to the right thing, taste the right thing. The five senses doesn't want to look. That's what it's so easy. I was telling just now, right? It's so easy. One person only has to pass and the eye is gone. One little noise there, the air is also gone. Panchakusangi he calls them. Kusangi is the opposite of Satsangi. So, the one who has conquered these senses is called Jitendriyaha. I will keep my eyes here and my ears listening here. This is called Jitendriyaha. And I will, all five of them, whatever evil tendencies that they have, inclinations, I will draw them back, bring them back, and make sure that they stay on the right path, what is good for them. Please see the far-reaching implications of these words. There are so many people who spend their time on the internet looking at the worst trash. That is what the eyes want to. And the ears. And what type of music? A few days ago, a fellow went into a Sikh temple in the state of Wisconsin. And he shot 6 people dead. And when the FBI checked his repertoire of music, what type of music you think? All this violent music. So the ears want to listen to? If you say, listen to some stuti. Achyutam Keshavam Ramanarayanam Krishna Damodaram Vasudevam Harim Sridharam Madhavam Gopika Vallabham Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Bhaje. Janaki Nayakam Ramachandram Bhaje. Stuti. Bhagavat Stuti. Bhagavat Stotram. Listen to that. No. The air. What do you want to listen to? Swamiji, I want to go Skinner Park. I want to go to Skinner Park. You know, they have some nice shows there. And they play some nice music there. What you are teaching, that is boring. Jitendriyaha. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma. Bhutatma bhutatma means the one who sees himself as the self of all things. He sees himself as the self of all things. You have to see that this world is you. We have to come to see that this world is we ourselves. I am my world. I am the one who is there in all things. So if I hurt anything in the world, I am actually hurting myself. If I insult anything in the world, I am insulting myself. Like that. Sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi lipyate. Bhagavan says, the most wonderful phrase that is. Kurvanapi nalipyate. In the 18th chapter, he says that all actions are doshavat. Doshavat. Doshaha asya asti iti doshavat. Means to say, all actions are attended with some defect. But the person who has achieved these things, the defects of the actions do not disturb or harm this person. All actions are doshavat. Let me tell you exactly what Shankaracharya gives nice commentary there on that word also. The actions have defect. What is the defect? All actions cause bondage. Bandha hetutva. All actions cause bondage. That is the dosh. That is the defect of actions. Every action we engage in, they cause the bondage. But the one who has become Vijitatma, the one who has become Vishuddhatma, the one who has become Jitendriyaha, conquered the senses, conquered the mind, and purified the mind, and the one who has who has come to see himself in all things, then no actions can bind that person. That person is forever free, even while living in this world. I'll give you a simple example. Tulsidaji writes a nice verse. This comes now in Ayodhya Kand. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram
सुख दुख कर दाता निज प्रीत करम भोग सब दाता।
श्री राम जय राम श्री राम जय
He says nobody is the source of your joy or your sorrow. You are the source of your own joy and your own sorrow. It means to say, see, even from a worldly point of view now, it is so easy to see that I am the one responsible for everything in my life. How? So, I'll give you a simple example. If you call me a fool, right? If you call me a fool, is it not true that it is in my hands to get angry or not? To get angry or to smile? Whose hands that is in? My hand. When you call me a fool, I could get angry and say, how dare you call me a fool? You are a bigger fool. And just to prove it, I'll show you. And you'll whack you on the head. So that is in my hands. Or I can, when you call me a fool, I can say, only today you discover I am a fool? Now, when I do that, I am left with my mind free from anything, isn't it? There is no sorrow. But the first one, even the reaction itself shows that there is sorrow. Somehow you have fractured my self-image when you call me a fool. And my reaction itself proved that I was really in fact a fool. So, when you belong to the world and you bring anything to me, it is in my hands whether to be happy or to be miserable. Anything from the world, it is finally in my hands. I can be very happy and only once you want to call me second time also. I like pears. It is in my hands. So Tulsidas says, I am the source of my own joy and my own sorrow. Not anybody in the world. Not anything in the world. So that is true. Even now from a very ordinary point of view, I showed you. So Bhagavan says, Kurvan napi na lipyate. Even while engaged in actions, this person is not bound by the results of actions. It means to say that from a spiritual point of view, there is a state where the person has a choice whether to allow his actions to bind him or whether he can be free from his actions. So in other words, the worldly insult will come, because the world is the world. They will give some days praises, some days insult. The two will come, but it's finally in my hands. Here also, now, actions is a must. We must go on doing action, whether it is a person who is Jitatma, Vijitatma, or whether it's a person who is not Vijitatma. All people must do action, but the difference is the wise person, I choose not to be disturbed, not to be bound by my actions. The other person, he chooses to be bound by his actions. So he doesn't follow any of these things which this Gita is talking, and the actions bind and bind and bind, and he's getting deeper and deeper in bondage. But the other person says, say, I'm doing same actions. Two people will be doing the same actions, and the same action binds one and frees the other one. So from the spiritual point of view now, I have a choice here. I can say, no. I will not allow this action to bind me. I'm not giving up the action. I'm giving up the binding effect of the action. It will not bind me. So what I do? I develop all the things that the Lord is talking about, which I talked about just now systematically, and ensure that no actions will bind me. Bhagavan says, Kurvan apina lipyate. No actions bring bondage to such a person who has developed those things. Now, in the next verse, or next two verses, Bhagavan takes this whole discussion to a totally higher pitch, a most wonderful pair of verses. I told, if you want to learn to chant Bhagavad Gita, first you tackle these two verses. If you could chant these two verses and say all the words correctly, not only Bhagavad Gita, you will be able to say anything in Sanskrit. You will be able to say, repeat anything in Sanskrit if you can chant these two verses well. I'm going to say it each line twice. Those of you who have your Gita, look at these lines and try to say them now. Neva kinchit karomiti.
Neva kinchit karomiti.
Neva kinchit karomiti.
Neva kinchit karomiti.
Yukto manyeta tattvavit.
Yukto manyeta tattvavit.
Yukto manyeta tattvavit.
Yukto manyeta tattvavit.
Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran.
Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran.
Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran.
Pashyan shrinvan sprishan jigran.
Ashnan gachan swapan shwasan.
Ashnan gachan swapan swashan.
Ashnan gachan swapan shwasan.
Ashnan gachan swapan shwasan.
Pralapan visrijan grihnan.
Pralapan visrijan grihnan.
Pralapan visrijan grihnan.
Pralapan visrijan grihnan.
Unmishan nimishannapi.
Unnishan nimishannapi.
Unmishan nimishannapi.
Unnishan nimishannapi.
Indriyani indriyartheshu.
Indriyani indriyartheshu.
Indriyani indriyartheshu.
Indriyani indriyartheshu.
Vartanta iti dharayan.
Vartanta iti dharayan.
Vartanta iti dharayan.
Vartanta iti dharayan.
The last line has to be studied first. Indriyani indriyartheshu vartanta iti dharayan. That means to say, the person has to go in. Let me back up there a little bit. It's a little bit subtle. You know what is a witness? A witness is one who is totally uninvolved in whatever is going on. Uninvolved witness. He just saw, or he just became witness to what happened. He is himself not, if he is engaged in that, he is not a witness, he is a victim or something, isn't it? One who sees without being engaged in that thing. He is called as witness. So this verse is telling that I have to learn to become a witness. Witness to what? Let us study it slowly, and you go. Now see, this thing is outside, right? So I am the witness and this thing is the witnessed, right? One rule: the witness and the witnessed, they are always two separate things. They are not one and same. So when I see the bottle, I don't take myself to be a bottle. I know that the bottle is distinct and separate from me. I am the witness and this is the thing which is witnessed. In the very same way, do you know all the thoughts and emotions inside your head? Are you witness to them or not? Well, you know very well, isn't it? You say, you tell people also, hey, I'm getting angry, you know. So who is witnessing the anger? You only, isn't it? And I just told you the rule, the general rule is what? The thing which is witnessed and the one who is witnessing, they cannot be one and same. They have to be different. So if you are witnessing all the emotions and thoughts and likes and dislikes and all these things going on in your mind, it means you are different from them. You cannot be one and same. So what Bhagavan is telling in the last line of these two verses here, you know, he says, go inside and watch well, and you will see that the mind and all the senses, they are just doing their work in this world, all guided by Prakriti. You really have nothing to do with it. Guna guneshu, indriyani indriyartheshu. In third chapter he said, Guna guneshu vartante. Both of them amount to the same. Here in fifth chapter he is saying, indriyartheshu, indriyani indriyartheshu. Means to say, look here, let me explain what that means. You see candy on the table, right? So what happens? The sun's light or the light from the lamp or something falls on the candy. The light comes and hits your eyes. The light is taken by the optic nerve to the brain, and some interpretation happens in the brain, and the brain sends a message to the muscles, and the muscle stretches out and takes up the candy and opens it, and the mouth opens. This is another message to the mouth muscles, jaw muscles. It opens and you put. He says, sit quietly and watch that entire process going on. You will realize that all that is going on there is Prakriti is working, and the one who was watching, he has to be separate from the whole thing. That one who is separate and who is watching, that is you. But what we take ourselves to be, but I am eating the candy. We superimpose the I-ness on the body, the mind and the intellect that is engaged in all of the activities. This is the most philosophical, subtle point of Bhagavad Gita. The one who is witnessing all of this happen, that person cannot be the same as the one who is doing it, because he is witnessing the doing. So what is going on there? The senses and the mind and the objects of the world and the light and all things of the external world, they are only going through their own process, all guided and commanded by Prakriti. Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvashaha. Prakriti with the three gunas, they are doing everything. So here, when the light falls on the object, then the light goes to the eye, it goes to the brain. How many things are working there? The interpretation is done by sattva. The movement of the light is done by rajas, because rajas is movement. And the interpretation, the understanding is by sattva. And the desire and the craving for the thing, that after it is seen, that craving, that is rajas. That is a tamas. Because you don't know who the candy belongs to, you know. You just saw the candy on the table. And since you're since you're inclined to do the wrong thing, that is what tamas does only. Pramada, tamas. In 18th chapter he describes. Tamas always makes you do the wrong thing. You're not supposed to eat the candy for a number of reasons. One is you're diabetic. Second thing, it is not yours. Third, you just ate. For a number of reasons you're not supposed to eat it. Fourth, you don't know where it came from. One fellow went to see his grandmother in the hospital. So when he went to his grandmother, her eyes were closed. And next to the grandmother, he had a little bowl on the table there was some peanuts. So grandmother, eyes closed, this fellow has nothing to do, eat out all the peanuts. After about half an hour, grandmother opened the eyes. He says, Sitaramaji, I came to see you. But I'm sorry, in the meantime, while you were resting, I ate out all your peanuts. Aji said, that is okay, no problem. In any case, I don't eat the peanuts after I suck out all the chocolate. There is one more reason why you see peanut, they don't touch it. Huh? You don't know what is the origin of the peanut. So, I was just trying to tell you, for a number of reasons you should not touch the thing. But see, the whole thing goes on the three gunas. That's why throughout the Gita, guna guneshu vartante, or prakate kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. The guna are doing. Rajas, tamas, sattva, all of them operating, and all actions are going on. And we are the witness. But what happened? The witness and, well, this happens regularly in life also. The witness and the people who are engaged in the activities, they get mixed up. Right? And nowadays in the court, you could hire a witness, you know. Yeah. You could hire a professional witness. After you hire him and you pay him, then he'll ask you, tell me, what did I witness? He will ask you. Because you have to brief him, you know. It's amazing what you can do in today's world. So you hire a professional witness, and anything you want him to witness, he witness. But we are not talking about that type of witness. That's where the witness get mixed up with. We are talking about a purely uninvolved witness. One who is not really involved. And Bhagavan is saying, recede, go inside and watch indriyani indriyarteshu vartanta iti dharayan. The dharayan means understanding. Dharayan means understanding, seeing, observing, knowing that all things are going on in the world. This is calling for some serious sadhana, serious meditation. And understand, na eva kinchit karomi iti. I never do anything. The whole thing is going on. And the Prakriti also is working. See, I told the Prakriti, which is made up of the three gunas, they are working and everything is being done. And who is controlling the Prakriti? God. The Prakriti works in the presence of God. In 3rd chapter he says, Ahankara vimudhatma kartahamiti manjate. It is total delusion to think that I am the one who is doing. Really it is God making the Prakriti work and all things are getting done. That is why without us in this world, everything will get done. You think without you nothing will get done. But without us, without us, everything will get That is why one should never have pride and abhiman and all such things. If I was not there in this world, then, for example, my children could not have come into this world if I was not there. That jiva, I was the channel through which that jiva came into this world. And if I was not there, that jiva could not have come into this world, because I am the parent that matches. Why do you think you are the only parent that matches? That jiva has infinite number of karmas, and so do you. Only a fraction of that infinite number of karmas match, and you came there. That jiva could have come in any other house, any other place. And if Bhagwan wants to send a child in the world, but you are the only medium or what? So Bhagwan cannot find somebody else? Very well he can find. Therefore, sitting back and looking at the whole cosmic process, dancing, understand that it is all going on by His grace, His director. He's the director. He's the producer. He's everything. You see? While doing what now? While all the processes of this physiological system is going on, observe and see that it is all being done by Prakriti. Pashyan, while seeing. Shrinwan, while listening. Sprishan, while touching. Jighran, while smelling. Ashnan, while eating or grasping or any such thing. Gachan, going. Swapan, sleeping or dreaming even. Or Shwasan, while breathing. Pralapan, while yap. That is called Pralapan. Visrajan. Visrajan means while releasing. Grihnan, while grabbing. Unmishan, while opening your eyes. Nimishan, while closing the eyes. While all of these things are going on, see that it is one guna acting on the other guna, in conjunction with the other guna, and all the gunas are making their turn, and the whole world is going on. Or, see, the object is presenting itself to the eyes. Whatever is caught by the eyes is presenting itself to the brain, and whatever is caught by the brain is presenting itself to the muscles, and whatever presents itself to the muscle act. It does. And the whole process is going on, and we are just the silent witness. Now, there are so many elements of this that I am not telling you, because I am not going into detail of each one of them. But what is required in the verse then is for the person to sit silently, sit tight, sit quietly, and become a pure sakshi. The Sanskrit word for witness is sakshi. And we have witnessed the outer world enough already, you know. Everybody knows everything that is going on in the outer world already. Now, how many, as a matter of fact, people don't know what is going on inside their own house, but they know what is going on in the neighbor's house. Correct or not? So we know what is going on in the world around us and everywhere, and what we don't know is what is going on inside our own house here. So see now, while you're looking, talking, walking, laughing, whatever actions you are engaged in, become a pure witness of that action. That is what is called for in these two verses. Very, very wonderful verses, and very famous verses from so many points of view. Alright. Now, the person in verse number 10 then is a Brahmanyadhaya karmani sangam tyaktva karoti yaha. He who gives up all attachments while working for the Lord, lipyate nasa papena padma patram ivambasa. A nice example is given. That person lives like a lotus in this world. The person who we just described, and the person who goes on working for Bhagwan only, seeing that the whole process is going on because the gunas are... Now there are two contradictory things there, you'll see. One is, on the one hand, he's saying, see that the whole thing is going on by Prakriti, by nature. Then second thing is, he's saying, you work for the Lord. Again, the idea is, you can only come to see that all things are going on in the world by virtue of Prakriti, nature, and God, only after you have gone through the stage of dedicating your actions to God. Because right now you feel you are working. All of us feel that we are working. That's where we are right now. So the first stage is to dedicate my actions to God. And in that process, as I evolve, I will come to the stage that is described in 8 and 9. What stage? That I can come to see that all things are really going on by His grace, going on by Prakriti, going on by the grace of the Lord only, and His Prakriti. So to come there, I have to start with dedicated action, that is called as Karma Yoga. So the Lord is pointing out the goal and is coming back to the means again. The goal is to come to see the whole thing is going on by His grace. But to get there, He has to constantly point out the means. I have to give up selfish action and learn to work selflessly. Okay.